Well, welcome back, my friends, to another browsing rendition of Choir Boys Cutler. Here's old Scab just working on this vine. While y'all watch him do this, let me say this. 22 veterans a day in this country commit suicide. It's a number that's staggering, and it's absurd, man. We got to bring some awareness to it, and that's my goal, is raising awareness. That's why it's mentioned every video. Vets, we love you. We care about you. You fought for us, man. Let us fight for you. We back the blue here. How do we do that, Scab? Well, we don't break the damn law. And if you're an addict, never quit quitting. It will stick one time. And I know this is a tough year, or a tough time of year. Christmas season is tough on all three of those groups. And our Leos, I think, are doing a fine job. And vets, I know this can be a tough time for you, but we're here for you. And for my guys that are addicts and girls, I am one, so I know your struggles. So I'm thinking of all of you, praying for all of you. Now, let's get into the video today. We're doing the Chinese war sword, Machete, by Cold Steel. From now on, I'm going to just call it the war sword, and I don't want to hear that it's a machete. I know it's a machete. I bought 2 of the damn things. So there we go. Now, we picked 3 or 4 different little environments here. This is, and here's another disclaimer up front. Everything that you see cut has to go anyway. I pick areas that they're going to go ahead, they're going to clear cut all of this crap. So I go in, it's a good way to practice some cutting, it's a good way to get some video. And, you know, I know we all want to bitch about Scab cutting something green when they're burning millions and millions of acres of Amazon forest. But let's just wear me out instead. So, all this has got to go. All this is for work. So that, you know, if you got some problem with that, watch another damn channel. No, I hadn't been getting any bad comments. I'm just really not as nice as everybody thinks I am. So there I am, looking rather dapper. I picked the world's tightest shirt here. I just grabbed one this morning, threw it in the truck, and I really probably should have rethought that choice. Watch, I'm winding up here, but I didn't. So here we are. It's like one of them bench press shirts, huh? About to kill me. Of course, you can't, work in a wife beater, so it is what it is. Now, I can tell y'all this. Firsthand, without a doubt, this is my favorite Cold Steel machete. I mean, just hands down. It handles, it's heavy. And I've got 3 actual Cold Steel swords. The Grossmesser, the Scottish basket hilt, and the 1796 cavalry saber. And their actual swords are good swords, and they're all heavier. I understand Cold Steel makes them a little heavier and overbuilt. This machete is in that vein. This is not the weight or it doesn't feel like a machete. I also have the Cold Steel katana machete, the 2-handed tie machete, one of the Kukri machetes, and the Gladius machete. And all of those have that kind of machete feel. And this, however, man, it feels heavy. It feels heavier than a sword, if you want the truth. And that's bamboo. Look at that. Cruising right through that. Now, here's the deal. I picked different environments. Like this is a little heavier. This would be your industrial brush. A lot of palmettos, some bamboo. That was actually an oak tree. Or, it was a tiny one. But, again, it's all got to come out. And some of them vines, y'all know I hate them Florida vines. Now, this thing cruised through everything. This is one of the, like I said, this is like a little heavier environment here. I did some of this. Now, y'all can see when it catches it. A couple times, so I just slid it right across here and cut nothing. But for the most part, once it grabbed, it is really sharp. I did run it through the work sharp twice before I did any of this. I didn't want to get out there and have to redo it mid video. So I ran it through, but that's all it took. It's got a pretty good edge profile on it to begin with. And I'm telling y'all, now, there is a segment in here somewhere, and I'll talk to you more about it when we get there. This up front, this is one of the first places that I went to or that I was at, and that, just kind of cut through some stuff. Some of these places may look a little more familiar to you, their ongoing job sites and what have you. But right here, you just see it's really kind of cruising through. The other thing that kind of stands out, there's my Conan pose. The other thing that kind of stands me missing, I know that shocks everybody. The other thing that stands out about this war sword, I don't know what I was thinking there, lost my mind, is the handle. Now, that katana machete, that handle will eat your hands up. It really will. The tie two-handed machete is smaller, and it really, when you go to swing that thing, I love it. I love that machete, but it just feels like sometimes you could break it. This one, the handle, and of course it's a plastic handle or Grivex or whatever Plastex Cold Steel decides to call it. They got to rename everything. But it's a thicker, heavier handle, and it's really comfortable. I had some gloves with me if I needed them, but I really didn't. Everything just kind of was pretty comfortable, man. Like I said, this would simulate a heavier environment. Cut a lot of palmettos in here, a lot of palm branches. Yep, not much edge damage. That a boy scab. Kind of standing there looking, boom, look at that. I just wanted to show you what the tip of this thing would do. So I just did one stab with it. Look at that, man. About cut the bottle in twain, son, just by stabbing it. Now, cutting away. Now, this is like backyard waste. All this stuff is in old Florida vines, a bunch of foliage. Now, look right here, because you're like, what are you cutting? You'll be able to tell as I go, because I cut all the way back to about that tree line. Now, what y'all can't see in here, this is a dead-end road, and it kind of runs into a highway that's on top of a little hill, and you can see some of the cars going back through there. What you don't see is that as I cut my way back through here, I quickly realized that there was a tent back there and a meth camp, which, I didn't really see anybody. I knew a couple of them were there, didn't come out the tent. Of course, there was a 320-pound man with a Chinese war sword just filming himself cutting his way through the forest there, so I didn't think it'd come out. But y'all can see now, I think this segment's right at like 2 minutes long, seriously. But you can see how I'm just kind of cruising through. And it's one of them things, man, where it doesn't look like I'm making a lot of progress till I turn around to come back. And you understand I've hacked half of this stuff, the forest down. I mean, it cut a big trail through there. Handled this part, no problem. No problem at all. Now, this was after all that palmetto and all the vines and some of the bamboo. Just really kind of cruised my way right on through there. I really, 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 really like this machete. Matter of fact, when we do after we get our Kung Fu video done, I'll probably throw one of these permanently in the truck and just have with me, because I'm telling you, it handled every task today. Now, anything bigger, I'm going to use an axe or tomahawk for them. Just not, I'm not. And I've got the Martindale, which I did a video on that not too long ago, my surveyor's machete. But now this thing right here, I didn't really get in. I didn't want to cut even though they got to come out, I wanted to save a couple of the trees for later on down the road in videos, some of the bigger knives. But I'm going to tell you this, I can tell you this, what this particular machete kind of reminds me of. And I just lost my train of thought. No, one of them bolo machetes. Where it's heavier on the end. This Chinese war sword from Cold Steel right here. I mean, it's heavy. Now, see how far? In 2 minutes, I cut my way on back through there now. And cut everything down pretty good. And there was a lot of the vines. Y'all see me hit the ground a couple times. There's also some logs in there. In December or not, son, this is Florida. Some of them moccasins will get on you. Now, this part might have been part of the toughest while I was there, actually. This is that old bamboo. Y'all seen me in this area before. We got to cut this stuff down, and nobody's come and cut it down, so old Scab's in there trying to hack away. This is all straight bamboo and briars and vines. So the Chinese war sword machete thing, do I recommend it? Yeah. Yes, I do. I recommend it if you want one just to play around with, if you need one for backyard brush, if you need one for light forestry work, whatever you need a machete for. And look how cool it looks. You know, you're going to look like a psychopath out here swinging it, but if I was a betting man, I'm betting most of your neighbors wouldn't think a thing about it. I know mine don't. So, all the way around, I like the thing. Now, somebody's going to ask me, I know that, it's good for self-defense. No, it's big. It's a little unwieldy. I mean, I know I look like I know what I'm doing there with it, but I'm a seasoned professional. You just don't get this every day. Now, once I clear some of this out, you'll see that I made actually a pretty good dent in this stuff. But anybody that's ever cut just raw bamboo knows that it ain't the easiest thing in the world to do. But this I can't speak highly enough of this machete. I do recommend it. I think it was $50. I want to say 40 or 50. Now this one's discontinued, but if you go to Smoky Mountain, they still have some in stock, and I'm sure other places do too. I'm sure they do. I'm glad I grabbed these two. Like I said, we're going to do a Kung Fu video style deal, and I'll probably get another piece or two, I think a tiger claw or something like that to help with the video, and it's just going to be for fun. But I'm telling y'all, this is a great machete. Now y'all see where I'm making a little hedgeway in there. And really, truly, honestly, with all this cutting done, and I've edited some of this out now. I probably cut for an hour and a half, 2 hours on various areas. With all of this done, there was no edge damage, no edge roll, none of that. It held up really, really well. No warping the thing. Because, you get out here, you swing that much, you hit stuff wrong. And it don't take but a second, and you can warp it, none of that. And really, truly, I can't overstate the comfort of the handle. Now, I think a whole day of it, you may need some gloves. But as it stands on its own, man, I love this thing. I absolutely love this thing. This is not the last time you'll see it. We may have a Machete Palooza before too long. Well, listen, guys, I love y'all. God bless y'all. Thank you for all the support. Don't forget the 22. I'm Scab. You're not. We gone.